The Auditor-General's report on the federal government's 2022 financial statement shows Putrajaya spent 62.11 billion ringgit on subsidies last year, nearly 5 times more than in 2021. The bulk of 55.443 billion ringgit were charged to the government's operating expenditure, while part of the subsidy spending for petroleum products and cooking oil, amounting to 6.67 billion ringgit, were charged to the COVID-19 Trust Fund. The total amount spent on subsidies in 2022 is 4.73 times the 13.134 billion ringgit spent by the federal government in 2021. Within an OPEX allocation, the biggest component at 81.5% of the total was petroleum products subsidy of 45.18 billion ringgit, not including the sum charged to the COVID-19 Trust Fund. The electricity subsidy charged to OPEX stood at 4 billion ringgit. Subsidies for food aid and cooking oil amounted to 2.47 billion ringgit, while the allocation for highway tolls stood at 861.22 million ringgit. Malaysia has projected a total subsidy bill at around 81 billion ringgit this year. To rein in ballooning subsidies, the government expects to introduce a targeted subsidy system in 2024. According to Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli, the system will rely on Putrajaya's PADU database and make the calculations based on an individual's income, location and commitment. Currently at a completion rate of 60%, PADU will be trialled on 1 million households in November and go live in January 2024. The Auditor-General's report said the government wrote off 4.6 billion ringgit in loans in 2022, up from 701.5 million ringgit in 2021. The write-off in 2022 comprised 1.36 billion ringgit approved that year, as well as another 3.24 billion ringgit approved between 2011 and 2022. The biggest portion comprised 2.794 billion ringgit to Perwaja Terengganu. 1.23 billion ringgit was to the Pahang State Government, 242.4 million ringgit to Felkra, and 173.5 million ringgit to the Malacca State Government. The write-off last year also includes 54.76 million ringgit to Malaysia Venture Capital Management, 46.05 million ringgit to UDA Holdings, and 40 million ringgit to Bank Pertanian Malaysia. Putrajaya also saw lower loan payment arrears, totaling 10.79 billion ringgit, down from 11.96 billion in 2021. The payment arrears include Indah Water Consortium at 3.606 billion ringgit, SRC International at 627.22 million ringgit, Sabah Electricity at 501.84 million ringgit, and KTMB 477.85 million ringgit. RM62b's Assets Recovery Trust account balance shrank by 87.4% last year, tumbling from 15.281 billion ringgit in 2021 to 1.927 billion ringgit at the end of 2022. According to the National Audit Department, this followed the payments of 13.9 billion ringgit in RM62b borrowings last year, which left the amount guaranteed by Putrajaya at 18.17 billion ringgit as at end 2022, down 43.3% from 32.07 billion ringgit at end 2021. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said in August that Putrajaya aims to recover more funds from Goldman Sachs. The bank arranged billions of US dollars in bond sales for RM62b and received some $600 million in fees in return. 2 of its former bankers have been accused of helping facilitate the theft of over $2.7 billion of the proceeds from those offerings. It agreed to $3.9 billion in cash and assets recovery to Malaysia as part of a global settlement inked in 2020. Penang's former Deputy Chief Minister too, Professor Dr. P. Ramasamy, is urging the state government to indefinitely suspend the controversial 646 million ringgit Batu Kawan land deal in the interest of Malaysians pending investigations or risk having it blown out of proportion. Ramasamy was referring to the sale of a 558.96-acre plot in Batu Kawan Industrial Park 2 to Sunway's subsidiary Umech Land. He said the exposure of the deal is akin to opening Pandora's box, and the more Penang Chief Minister Chow Kon Yeow attempts to defend the sale, the more it becomes indefensible. Ramasamy is a former board member of state investment arm Penang Development Corp or PDC, which sold the tract to Umech Land. Recall that Penang entered into a direct negotiation deal with Umech Construction, yet the agreement signed with PDC was with Umech Land, which has shareholders in common with Umech Construction but is not legally related to the firm. Umech Land was 70% acquired by a subsidiary of Sunway just 2 days before the land deal was signed on September 27th. Kerjaya Prospek Group has bagged a 226 million ringgit contract from Aspen Vision City for a development in Patukawan, Penang. The job entails the building of a 37-storey residential building with 980 units in 2 blocks, on top of a 7-storey podium comprising car parks, community recreational facilities and shop lots. Construction works are expected to commence on October 27, 2023 and be completed within 42 months from the commencement date. With the latest contract win, Kerjaya Prospek has managed to surpass its target of securing 1.2 billion ringgit in new contracts this year. It brings the builder's outstanding order book to 4.7 billion ringgit and is expected to provide an additional stream of revenue for the group over the next 4 years. Kerjaya Prospek's share price finished unchanged at 1 ringgit 37 cent, giving the group a market capitalization of 1.74 billion ringgit.